audience was discussing marriages working out. We have an online question, and that is a marriage of Isaac and Rebecca. Isaac was decades older than Rebecca was. How did that work?
Well, two things. Number one, the maturity of those times are much different than now. Even Rebecca was only 3 years old when she got married. A 3-year-old then was equal to, who knows, probably a 20-year-old today. The maturity level was much higher than it is today. It wasn't like I married a little girl 3 years old. That wasn't the case at all. Even physically, she went through the water for all the camels. So she was a little girl 3 years old. How could she throw a little girl? So physically, she was certainly much stronger, and spiritually, and her maturity level was much stronger than the 3-year-old today. We can't compare it. That's number one. Number two, the whole idea of marriage was a lot different than today by many people. Marriage was not just getting together, enjoying each other, and having good times. Those times, good times means getting together, serving God, having a family that's going to be a family of Torah and abiding by the laws of the Torah. That was what the purpose of marriage was, to have children, to bring them up according to Torah standards. So the whole idea of marriage is a lot different than today. And therefore, even things today seems like a mismatch, because people are not on that level of greatness to make a marriage work according to spiritual standards. They had a much more spiritual level, and they were able to make marriages which might not be manageable today. They were manageable then.
All right, I'm giving all praises to Yahweh by Hashem Yahweh Shai, by Hashem HaRachakodash, saying double honors to our apostles and elders, Harry Gray Millstone, peace and blessings to the Lord's hopeful elect. So, Rebecca was not 3 years old when she married Isaac. She, at the very least, was around the age of 12, at the very least, because according to the scriptures, that's when a woman is able to conceive a child. So at the very least, she had to have passed the age of puberty. And in our custom, just like nature would tell you, that typically happens to boys and girls around that age, around the age of 12, because then your body is fully developed to do what? Produce sperm as well as to conceive a child. This doctrine that is taught by these people today, the 1948ers, is according to their book, which they call the Talmud, which the history on that it goes back to the Babylonians. And it's just a compilation of thoughts, you can say, of what they would call different rabbis. And they wrote down whatever they wrote, and then they put it into a book, and they believe that it's the law. And a part of their belief is that they believe that the Most High condones the molestation and the violation, right, and the perverse, wicked act of grown men having abusing and having sex and intercourse with little boys and girls as young as 2 years old, and 2 and 3 years old. That's what they believe. As just like the gentleman who put this video up, as he titled "The Most Sinister Abominable Thing You'll Ever Hear," he's going to explain what it is that their book says.
It has already been established in a previous Mishnah above 10b that a woman who is presumed to be a virgin at the time of her marriage is entitled to a ketubah of 200 denarim, whereas a woman who is presumed to be a non-virgin at the time of her marriage is entitled to a ketubah, marriage agreement is what a ketubah is, of 100 denarim, a mina, whatever. The Mishnah we are about to consider continues in its efforts to determine which women are considered virgins for the purpose of the ketubah and which are treated as non-virgins. If a grown-up man has intercourse with a less than 3 years old, are you seeing this? And they're not condemning this. or if a young boy less than 9 years old has had with a grown woman, or if a woman has been injured by a stick and as a result has been ruptured. In each of these cases, the woman is entitled to a ketubah of 200 denarim when she marries. Okay, and you can keep on reading there. You can pause it and read it if you really want to.
Yeah, it says the next sentence, it says a girl who engages in togetherness, say, when she is less than 3 years old, is still considered a virgin. And it goes on to say if a boy that age is considered a virgin. So they condone, their book condones the molestation and the violation and the trauma of inflicting this trauma upon little boys and girls at that age. And it even tells you that that the little you can have sex with a little boy. Okay, and it's not a sin. That's what they teach. That's what they teach. Now, it should come to no surprise, though, that when you hear about this story that happened in New York, the New York Tunnel, right? These underground tunnels. Let's read about it. It says illegal New York synagogue tunnel leads to 9 arrests. It says the tunnels were built under a prominent street in Brooklyn where the Chabad Lubavitch headquarters are located. Okay. It says a brawl broke out after police found a group of young men blocking efforts to inspect and fill a tunnel with cement. Some of the men then broke through the wall of the prayer space. Those acts led to arrests. And you remember those clips. They were fighting and kicking and screaming. And the question was, well, what the hell is under those tunnels? What are under those tunnels? Well, there were some pictures that actually came out about those tunnels that showed what was going on in those tunnels. And in one of those tunnels, they were actually shown bringing out these kid-sized mattresses with stains on them. And as well as it being linked to a children's museum. Right here it says, was the secret tunnel linked to a children's museum? And they have photos of what? You have one of them coming out of the tunnel, which what are you doing in the tunnel? How come nobody's really raising the alarm on that? What are these people doing with secret tunnels under the city of people who actually walk through there? And you have secret tunnels. But this gets very little press, right? What's going on? And what's up with this kid mattress with these stains on it? And it happens to be linked to a children's museum. It says one shocking discovery by a user on X called Kyle Undercover reveals something rather disturbing about the matter and said that the underground tunnels were allegedly connected to a local children's museum in New York, resulting in concern of other users on the platform. Yeah, because I would ask the question, how many kids have been missing that go missing from these museums? And why is it linked to a children's museum? Well, when you understand their book, when you see their book and you see what they teach, and when you hear what their rabbi says, you know, their rabbi, when you hear what they're teaching, if you connect the dots, does it really come as a surprise when you hear about these type of incidents and when you hear about children's mattresses being found under those tunnels, right? And by the way, these are, supposed to be God's chosen people, right? Well, that's why, according to the scriptures, they're known as the Edomites. And the Edomites, you're just flat out wicked. According to the scriptures, you are known as the wicked. And the prophecy says that before the Lord brings the destruction to this place, the entire world will recognize and know who that wicked is. Will know who that man of sin is. And it's being found out that man of sin are the Edomites. That's what is being found out. And, these people, they've actually always believed that. They always had that viewpoint. They've always done the things you actually, that the Lord is revealing to them, that the world sees now, like how they view the Palestinians, how they're killing the Palestinians, how they backstab, how they view anybody that isn't one of them. They've always had that process. It's just been hidden, but now the Lord just revealed it. So he's just revealing to the world who this man is and his true nature. And the whole world is going to acknowledge that this man is just a man of sin. And then the Lord is going to bring him down. That's part of the prophecy. And this is what's happening as you speak. Their skirt is being uplifted. And this is why, as somebody had made I read a comment, I love it. It says, to one of them, nothing can be more insulting than the truth. You see, when you just call them out and you don't have to slander or lie, you just calling them out and saying the truth, to them that's an insult. That is why Davidson spent their entire lives in hiding. Because for them, hiding is their safe spot. It's just like, it's the reason why rodents such as rats don't like the light, because their eyes are sensitive to it and they have fewer places to hide. They have to dwell in the dark to hide, because that's what they do. And their teachings such as that is hidden. And that's just one of many teachings that is hidden. They have to keep it secret. But the scripture says that the Israelites will be as a city set on the hill that can't be hid. The Israelites wouldn't be able to hide themselves if they wanted to. That's why we as Israel, we can't hide ourselves. We always outshine the other nations around us in every way, no matter what it is, when it comes to inventions, when it comes to sports, entertainment, no matter what it is, we shine. Why is it that these people actively try to hide what it is that they do and what it is that they believe, and use positions like the media and movies and all these things to conceal and to forbid certain information from getting public press so that the whole world can read about it? Why is that? Well, it's because they're actually the Edomites, and the Lord already called them out, that they're a type of people that seek to hide. Now, the people who are always trying to seek and to hide something typically is somebody who's up to no good or is guilty of something. Another thing is one of the most popular surgeries in that land are nose surgeries. Nose surgeries. Why is that a popular? Because it's a method of hiding. They also change their names. These are the things that they do in the method of hide so that they won't be identified upon sight or upon hearing their names. And the Lord is just revealing it all out now. And it's called all Yahweh Shem Yahshua for that. Okay. 1 Corinthians chapter 7, real quick. It says, verse 37, nevertheless, 36, it says, but if any man think that he behaveth himself uncomely toward his virgin, if she pass the flower of her age and need so require it, let them do what he will. He sinneth not, let them marry. What is he talking about? He's talking about that desire to have sex when they pass the flower of their age. And when does that happen? That happens when a woman's body changes and develops what they call puberty. That's called the flower of her age. That's when her body is now able to conceive, hold seed. And that's when she starts, ovulating. And her body starts to change. And as nature tells you, just like with animals, when animals become in heat, they naturally are drawn to what? Wanting to mate. So all the women in the scriptures, when they were considered virgins and married, they were past that development age. They were past the age, either at the age or past the age of 12, right? Just like Mary, the Lord's mother. She had to have been at that age, because that was the miracle. A very young woman will bring forth the Lord. All right, so having sex with little boys and girls at age 2 and 3 is a perverse teaching. It's not biblical. It's not in the Torah, because they believe as young as 2 years old. That's why he heard him say the fact that she was 3 years old, she was 7 years stronger than what? A 3-year-old can't even hold a conversation with you. A 3-year-old don't even know their own colors. But you got to ask yourself, well, why is it? Why do they want that to be a thing? Well, because Esau, Edom, okay, in the scriptures is known as the wicked. And deep down, these Edomites, their heart is perverse. The word perverse means twisted. They're perverse. So what it is they want to do, they want to normalize the things that they think about and meditate on, the things that they want to do. They naturally want to be homosexuals. They naturally are homosexuals. They're naturally pedos. They naturally seek to defile the innocent, seek after little children. You know, they're not attracted to grown women. They're not attracted to grown women. They're not attracted to that which is right. They naturally want to do that which is perverse. That's why when you figure out all these pedo rings, they all just happen to be the same nationality. They come from the 1948 club. Why is that? Because that's what they naturally think. They're twisted. They have a whole option of adult, fully matured adult women, but they want the little boys and girls. And they go after the little boys. And they're known for what? Homosexuality. And they legalize homosexuality in their world. You know, homosexuality isn't condemned by the Talmud. This is the prayer of Azariah, verse 7. This was a Israelite, okay, a so-called Negro Latino Native American who was praying to the Lord, and he justified the Lord in this in what it is that he brought upon us, because he said he was going to bring that upon us if we made the Lord angry. And one of the punishments was that we would have to serve captivity under our enemies, but not just any old enemy. The Lord took the worst, the most based, the most perverse, the most wicked people out of the bunch of people on the planet, and he gave them the rulership over us. Now that shows you we really pissed him off, man. As he says here in verse 6, it says, "In all things we have trespassed and not obeyed thy commandments, nor kept them, neither done as thou hast commanded us, that it might go well with us. Wherefore all that thou hast brought upon us, and everything that thou hast done unto us, thou hast done in true judgment. And thou didst deliver us into the hands of lawless enemies, most hateful forsakers of Yahweh, and to an unjust king, and the most wicked in all the world." And according to the scriptures, that man is Esau Edom. He's a lawless enemy. He's not bound by laws. He's not bound by rules. In his spirit, he naturally desires that which is evil. He naturally desires that which is perverse. So instead of going for a developed woman to have a woman past the age of 12, or even your own age, right? You set your heart and your eyes upon a little innocent, as you would say, right? The little child, a little helpless child that can't even formulate words or speak, or you know, a 3-year-old can't even lift a damn bucket. How the hell a 3-year-old is going to be able to go to a well and pull water out the well? That's just perverse teachings. Okay. But that's what their heart desires. They desire little boys and girls, and make a custom of putting their mouths on a newly born man to circumcise them orally by their mouths. Now, why would you do that? Because that's your desire. Your desire is to defile. And these are the things that they enjoy doing naturally, so they want it to become a law. That's why the world is full of sodomy and adultery, because they want the world to be like them. They don't like that the Heavenly Father and his righteousness condemns them. So they want it to be normal. They want what? Why they're trying to legalize what? Pedo. They legalize homosexuality, and they want to cross dress, and they want to change their plumbing. Why is that? Because they naturally want to wear they naturally put on their woman's undergarments and their dresses, and they prince around, and they like doing those things. So they want it to be normal. They want it to be legalized. So this is why there's a push for legalizing what? Pedo. Because these are the things that they seek to do in their heart, and they're in power So they want it to be a thing. They want it to come to pass. They want it to be in the law. Deuteronomy 28, verse 49. This is a curse again to the Israelites, as Azariah is called the precept. It said, the Lord shall bring a nation against thee from far, from the ends of the earth, as swift as the eagle flieth. A nation whose tongue thou shalt not understand. And that eagle represents the Roman Empire, which was a symbol of Rome, which were what? Esau, Edom. And what you find out, just like if you watch the movie Gladiator 2 with Denzel, they showed you their true nature, which is what? Homosexuals. The emperors were homosexuals. Here it is. They have access to all the women. They throwing themselves at their feet. They want the men. They want men. And cross-dressing and putting on makeup and things like that. They're just showing their true nature. When in Rome, these are the things they do. When they're in power, these are the things they do. They're perverse, wicked, man. It says, a nation of fierce countenance which shall not regard the persons of the old, nor show favor to the young. Because as we read, they were what? Lawless. So they don't have any limits. So they'll take a little boy at 2 years old and traumatize that little boy for life. And there's plenty of studies and people on it. Probably the most made documentaries for little boys or grown men, right, who would traumatize little boys, whether it was in the Roman Catholic Church or whether it was in a synagogue, come out and speak the most and and do what they do. They confront their abusers. And they say, look, you ruined my life. The most made documentaries all stem from the Roman Catholic Church and the synagogues. You just won't hear much about it because they don't want it to be publicized. But where is the outcry? Where is people really calling these people out? How is it that you can sit up here and hear that somebody saying such and so perverse, but there's no outcry? Where is people like Vocab Malone or Abu, who are so infatuated with the Hebrew Israelites and got detective boards investigating who came from who, this person's name, what school he was at? They got footage that ain't even on the internet anymore. They got all this stuff to try to investigate the Hebrew Israelites because, we're the worst things that ever existed, and we're just a ticking time bomb, and you got to watch us. But they have nothing to say when a rabbi gets up there and says a complete perverse, twisted doctrine on the internet, and he sits in the place as if he's this scholarly person when it comes to the scriptures, and they don't have nothing to say about that. There's no question in that. This is how you know that we say that they are also the wicked, and they're just trying to hinder our building, because as you read the scriptures, when we come back to knowing who we are, the enemies are moved with wrath. They're not truly standing up for what's right. They're not truly followers of the Messiah. They don't truly stand for truth. They're just there to make us out to be bad and to try to hinder our building. All you got to do is bring up these things and these doctrines in the book that those people believe, and they're going to run down the street. They're going to cower. If you ask how they're using the Bible or using the book to justify murdering Palestinians by the thousands every single day, and using the Bible to say to do it, they're not going to have anything to say. They're going to be silent. When these topic of tunnels come up, linked to children's museums with mattresses down there, and their doctrine, I would, where's the outcry? Why didn't you have anything to say? You see, this is why the scripture says what we're truly wrestling against. It's not about truth with these people. You got to remember that. It's not about truth. It's not about truth. It's about maintaining, as the elder Yeshua likes to say, maintaining so-called white supremacy. That's what it's all about. As Ephesians 6:12 says, we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities, against powers, against rulers of the darkness of this world, against spiritual wickedness in high places. That's what we're up against. It's not, you just can't come out with the truth and expect things to change. Well, look, we called it out. It doesn't matter. The people who own this place, the wicked, has covered the earth in darkness. And you're wrestling against rulership of darkness, rulership of wickedness, led by the wicked, which is Esau, Edom. Psalms 58. Do ye indeed speak righteousness, O congregation? Do ye judge uprightly, O ye sons of men? Yea, in heart ye work wickedness. Yea, ye weigh the violence of your hands in the earth. What do you call the slaughter of innocent Palestinians every single day? Thousands. What do you call that? That's weighing the violence of your hands in the earth. We Israelites, we're harmless. We haven't touched anyone. We're not responsible for children being grown up without their parents because they were bombed. Children growing up without an arm or a leg because they were bombed in the hospital. Being starved to death, without food, without water, having their homes taken from them by violence, displacing them. Taking little boys and girls when they're 2-3 years old, traumatizing them, molesting them, scarring them for life. We're not the ones doing that. The ones that are doing that are the Edomites, and the whole world sees it. So when these devils go to try to make a case to try to prove to the world that the Israelites are the worst thing to come, the world will know who truly is the devil. The world will know that it's just of wrath and anger that you're moved and you're trying to conceal your wicked dealings, because the world can see your wicked dealings. All the Lord has to do is reveal. You always been this people. You always thought this way. You always had lust for that which is perverse. You've always desired to lay with men and sleep with men and go after little boys and little girls. You've always done those things. It just hasn't been well known, and now it's going to be well known who you really are, who these people are who call themselves the Lord's anointed, who murder children and murder people and use the Bible to justify it and say, well, we're the Lord's people, so we're entitled to this. We can do this because we're entitled to this. The Lord is just showing the world who it is these people say they are, what it is they believe, and what it is that they do. And that right there takes away all their power, and no longer can they hide. Jeremiah 49 verse 10. But I have made Esau bare. Okay, bare. No more hiding. It's time to give an account for the things that you said. Give an account for the things that you've done. Okay, but I have made Esau bare. I have uncovered his secret places. That includes those tunnels. That includes your round tables of wickedness. Your secret places, how you control the media, Hollywood, all these things. Your name's going to come up. You're going to be found out. The things you do in dark is going to be found out by the world. And you can censor and block and shut down as much as you want, but it's just going to keep flooding. You're working overtime to flood simple information, simple truth, constantly, all day, every day. You're constantly taking down truth to try to conceal and maintain this image that, oh, we're just the holy victims. It says, and he shall not be able to hide himself. Okay, we're gonna find out who you are just by way of the truth. So that guy Vocab Malone, he's been outed. That guy's an Edomite, and I believe he's an Amalekite. He's one of them. He's been found out as well, because as the scripture says, well, actually, I'm gonna have to read. But it goes on, it says, his seed is spoiled, and his brethren, and his neighbors, and he is not. So soon you will be no more. Soon you will be no more. But the book of Sirach, chapter 13, Verse 15 says, every beast loveth his like, every man loveth his neighbor. Right. And to tell you that the righteous, and what fellowship hath the righteous with the ungodly, and the sinner with the godly. So if you're naturally a righteous person, you're going to contend evil naturally. But if you are just the same as the devil, then you're going to cleave into the devil. And that's why those devils have nothing to say. They have everything to say about Hebrew Israelites and try to scrutinize us to the smallest mite. And trying to make it seem like we're up to something secrecy. Everything we do and teach was out on the internet. We ain't hiding none when it comes to the doctrine. Other than that, we live in our regular lives. But then you have the actual acts and the accounts of what these people do openly, and you got the whole world condemning it. This is moving. These people are moving nations to draw swords and lead to war. The whole world can see it, but yet their mouths are sealed. Well, that's because they are of the same lineage of devils, and their silence on the matters is in their approval that they are okay with everything that goes on in the world. They are okay when they hear about the Roman Catholic Church once again being charges filed against their leaders for molesting and violating little boys and girls, traumatizing them for life, paying out silent, what do they call it? Paying out these undisclosed amounts as settlements. They're okay with that. They're okay with the world being polluted by plastic. They're okay with the animals. They're okay with the gates of hell saying that cows need to be changed. They're okay with everything that goes on in the world, in this wicked world. So they're showing that they're okay. They're on the board with wickedness. They are on the same team as Satan. They love it here. They condone it. By not speaking against it, it means they condone it. You understand? So that's how you know that they're just Satan's angels out to make sure that this, whatever goes on in this world, continues to go on. And we, the Israelites, since we stand up for what's righteous, they have to move, and that caused them to act and say, now we got to go do something. We have to, just like the Matrix, right? What Morpheus say? He said, those who love this world so much, basically a bunch of damn devils, they gonna fight you the moment you go to try to speak up or wake them up again, or you try to speak up against it, because they are one with the system and they will fight to protect the system. So we're not shocked when we see these people like Abu or Vocab Malone or any of these Edomites that try to come up and try to make us out to be violent criminals. It's because they're protectors of this wicked society. So they're just doing their job. But while they're doing it, their own men are being found out for doing perverse things, like James White. So you see how we're going to win with truth. We're always going to win with the truth. But it goes on to say, all flesh consorteth according to kind, and the man will cleave to his like. Right. So the reason those guys like Abu and them cleave and silent when it comes to these people, okay, the JOOs, is because they are of them. And I believe that Vocab, I believe that he actually is an Amalekite, because all the flesh will consort with one alike. So, the rats will consort with their fellow rats. So if we go back to Psalms 58, verse 3, it says, the wicked are estranged from the womb. They go astray as soon as they be born, speaking lies. So from birth, they're the wicked, man. They're just the wicked. That's all you can say. Okay? It says their poison is like the poison of a serpent. They are like the death adder that stoppeth her ears. So they're just poisonous vipers. They can't be reproved, can't be told what's right, okay, what's wrong. It says, which will not hearken to the voice of charming ever so wisely. So they're just born wicked. Their spirit is wicked. Everything about them is wicked. They just, as soon as they go forward, they speak lies. NLT, these wicked people are born sinners. Even from birth, they have lied and gone their way. So that's these Edomites. They come out the womb lying. everything about them is just, it's wicked. You know, so when the Lord said that he gave us, I mean, when the scripture says that he gave us over to the most hateful forsakers of Yahweh, the most unjust, lawless people on the planet, this is the man who he chose to do that. And he will be acknowledged as such. As Daniel 4:17 says, this matter is by the decree of the watchers and by the demand by the word of the holy ones, to the intent that the living may know that the Most High ruleth in the kingdom of men, and giveth it to whomsoever he will, and setteth up over it the basest of men. And that man is Esau, Edom. Out of all the people, all the nations on the planet, there is a nation of people known as the wicked. The wicked are the Edomites, and they are the most based of the world. And the Lord said that they will be in rulership in the end. He's given it over to them. The Lord has the power to do that. So when you hear stuff like that, you just marvel, because you say, wait a minute, aren't these people supposed to be God's chosen people? Aren't these people supposed to be the so-called holy people trying to lead others? And it's going to be found out that they're not. But that's the power of the Lord, that he's even able to give it to the most base people on the planet. 2 Ezra 6, verse 9. I'm sorry, verse 7. Then answered I and said, what shall be the parting asunder of times? Or when shall the end of the first and the beginning of it that followeth? And he said unto me, from Abraham and from Isaac, when Jacob and Esau were born of him, Jacob's hand held first the heel of Esau. For Esau is the end of the world, and Jacob is the beginning of it that followeth. So Esau, Edom, they are the end of the world. You understand? They are the end. They are the basest of men that was set up in the last days as a punishment because we broke the law, statutes, commandments of our Lord. He moves up the wrath. So he put us under the basest of men. He said, I'm going to give you over to the Edomites. Okay, the most base, the most wicked, the wicked. I'm going to give them under your hand. But don't worry, because in the end, after my anger is pacified, I will redeem you. But before I redeem you and wake you up, I'm going to show the world who the hell this man is, who the wicked is, what he thinks, how he moves, how he operates, what's in his truly heart, what's in his heart. And he won't be able to hide because I'm going to expose it to the world. Shine a giant flashlight over the land of Idumea and the people of Idumea. And then I'm going to raise my people up. I'm going to give you my word, prophesy, stand bold as a lion in their faces, telling them who they are. And then I'm going to come and I'm going to put them in slavery for good. Okay? And we're going to have our foot on their necks. So with that, shalom.